select daily or use the MyMGN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Hello, Kampala, Uganda. In response to the national call of strengthening the traffic security, Good Products Group HGO brand has officially launched the Rider Selection Campaign. Registration is now open. Visit www.riders.hgo.com. Complete your registration now for a chance to win exciting prizes including motorcycles, exclusive HGO gift boxes, and official rider vests, all while promoting safe riding awareness. This is how to participate. Pay the registration fee, invite 3 friends to form a team of 4, and your registration fee will instantly be refunded. Begin your journey of honor today. Don't miss this opportunity. Join the challenge, promote road safety, and become a pioneer rider. For details, visit the official Good Products website at www.hgo.com or call toll-free 0800-335-555 or visit our offices at Kingdom Kampala 3rd floor to register now and win prizes worth millions.
Revered as the patrons of the wild, my horn stood tall, announcing my presence among Africa's Big 5. Yet, with all my strength, I struggled to survive. Then Uganda Wildlife Authority gave us something, a safe home at the Ziwa Rhino Sanctuary. And here we began to thrive again. Today, we are 48 members strong, with 17 cows, ready to take our unique story into the future. This is your lifetime opportunity to name a rhino, and with it, find the conservation efforts that keep our story alive. For more information, visit our website, www.ugandawildlifeauthority.org.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Good morning and much thanks for being with us on UBC TV. Welcome to our newsreel, where this morning we are going to be focusing on matters of education, but not the usual way of doing education, going and sitting in a classroom being given information. Then you have to remember that at one time when you asked what you were told. Now we are looking at teaching or education in another perspective. That is virtualizing the purpose of education in the global south towards the 2050. Now, with me on set, I have 2 gentlemen. I have Dr. Tony Divine, who is a PhD holder and the Vice President of the Global, he's the Vice President of the Global Peace Foundation. Welcome to the studios.
Great to be here, Robert.
And just next to him is Milton Kambula, who is the chapter president of Uganda. Milton, you're most welcome.
Oh, thank you, our
and
brother.
the Global Peace Ambassador.
Thank you so much.
I want to start with you, Milton. When we talk about our topic this morning, yes, you've just had a conference for some days. It came to an end, but looking at the topic today, virtualizing the purpose of education in the global south towards the 2050 vision. Now, just give us a background for my viewer, what this is all about.
Our viewers, I want to say thank you for UBC management for having given us this opportunity to talk to you. All along, Ugandans have not prioritized the power of education, especially to work together and prepare our children and our students for national transformation. And as you are aware, Uganda is blessed in very many ways, the natural resources. And we are blessed as a nation. Actually, our chairman says Uganda is now positioned as a womb for Africa and the world. But all along, as Dr. Tony has educated us, that most of the African countries have a 20th century curriculum, with a 19th century teacher, with an 18th century calendar. And so we have been teaching our children things that are totally obsolete, yet we are supposed to prepare them to thrive for their own time, but also the future. So the purpose of our conferences that we have held for 2 days, the Ministry of Education officials and the head teachers and all the leaders of education in religious institutions and kingdoms, is to find a way of how we can actually come together as a team, think together, act together, and work together around the blueprint, which Dr. Tony is going to talk about, the blueprint for transforming education for national transformation. How is the future looking like? Are we working together to teach the relevant things and the critical things that the modern and the current employer wants? Or we are totally still in the past and preparing children to live in the past, economy, employment, and leadership. So this is the most important thing, that we want to visualize the purpose of education, but also see its future. And then we can invest as a government, but also parents to do their role, the private sector must do their role, the teachers, and the development partners.
Mm-hmm. Now this takes me to Dr. Tony. I'm so eager to listen. What is that contained in the blueprint?
Yes, so it really goes to re-examining what is the purpose and future of education. You know, a lot of people talk about the future of education, right? Mm-hmm. But very, very few people in this sector re-examines the purpose of education. Like, why are we doing what we're doing, right? Mm. We're kind of taking it for granted. We're on automatic pilot, right? Mm. So as Milton was mentioning, the education system in Uganda and the entire world is the 19th century educational model, the industrial model, the production line, right? Exams, grades, and all this. And, you know, it's focused on knowledge acquisition, right? That's what it's purely focused on. How much can you actually acquire, right, in a day and a week? And then it's assessed through quizzes, tests, and exams, right? And that's it. But let me ask you this, Robert, right? You know, let's say, you know, the students here, let's say they get straight A's, right, in this system, right? How is that an indicator that you're a good person? How is that an indicator that you're a person of character? How is that an indicator that you're able to relate well with others, right? How is that an indicator that you're able to solve problems and take initiative and be resilient? It's not. So we're kind of targeting an old, we're on an old target, on an old model. And primarily, the education system is basically focusing in on just one of the dimensions that define us as human beings, the mental cognitive dimension only.
And now coming back to you, Kambura, we've tried to make some changes. For example, here in Uganda, our lower secondary curriculum has undergone a review. Even the A-level curriculum, still the same. Of course, we also now have issues of how do we vocationalize
Exactly.
The secondary level as well. We are so much going into that technical. Many families are now waking up that, well, technical education, why spend time with a child going up to university if they can branch off and specialize and then upgrade. So looking at the reforms we are making, are they in tandem with the blueprint of this very virtualizing of the education?
As Dr. Tony has elaborated it, we are very blessed that you are in the country, and we want to say thank you for coming and considering Uganda and the many countries and the support you give to ministries of education. Uganda is now centered towards a better approach. Yesterday, we were able to appreciate, Mr. Robert, that as Minister of Education, all departments, that there has not been enough teamwork, for example. And you find one department is crafting their own things, and so there is a need for collaboration. That alone has been a problem, and so we agreed that every 4 months we are going to make sure that we come together again, all departments. We also had to bring in UNATU, the teachers union, ASHU, the parents, teachers, so that it begins from there. It begins with harnessing the different mandates and talents and the resources. Then two, all along we have been thinking we are transforming the curriculum. And we discovered that regardless of what we should call it, competency-based, but still the content, the alignment is still imported. These are imported content. And yet we have the rich African renaissance that built Africa of the pyramids of several thousands of years ago, and where Africa was taking care of the rest of the world. And today we are beggars, yet we have all the natural resources. We are the ones supposed to donate to the rest of the world. So I want to tell you that now what we need is a rigorous and radical education front line. Not military frontline, where we are focusing on character development and holistic education transformation. We are talking about now mental vitality of the child, the spiritual areas of the child development, where we are talking about the energy, fertility, the health of the child. Then we have the spiritual, which I've talked about, the mental. The four dimensions that we talked about yesterday is that now we must ask ourselves, these children who have been attending school, do they graduate with the four dimensions that I've talked about? If we start now looking at holistic education development, we are now going to have a new generation of young people. Remember, our greatest resource of the country is not the oil in Oima. It's not the gold, the 12 trillion US dollars that we have discovered in the gold that we have in the country. It actually rotates around the young people that we have. So the question is, are we doing enough? No, we are not doing enough, because the majority of the parents are still sleeping. They also lack the skills to play their role. Yesterday, actually, Dr. Tony said, Parents' Day should be every day. Yes, that came out, and we have made consensus, and we are going to write to the First Lady and give our views that all schools must open gates for parents to sit with the teachers and discuss the future of children and report to each other. And then parents can become more educators while the teachers are instilling
Milton,
skills.
you talked about holistic approach to education.
Yes.
I think Doctor wants to come in here. Yes, please.
Yeah, so this is like, Robert, this is pure common sense, right, that we're getting to. I think we have a lack of common sense these days, right? So if you look at who we are as human beings, right, we have four core dimensions. Everyone agrees with this. We have a mental cognitive dimension. We have a mental cognitive dimension. We have an emotional relational dimension. We have a physical vitality dimension. And we have a spiritual moral dimension. We're the only species in the universe that we know of, right, that has a spiritual moral dimension. Only humanity has that. The big five in Africa, they don't have that. Your cat and dog don't have it, right? Only human beings and human consciousness, right, has been able to do extraordinary things, right, in this world, right, and even in the past century, okay? The education sector is only partially targeting one dimension, not totally, the mental cognitive, right? And, you know, that is not actually doing our students, who, by the way, who are your #1 asset in Uganda. 70% of your population are young people.
Very true.
And this is your #1 asset. This is your #1 resource. You also have natural resources, too, in abundance, right? So, you know, it's not a lack of resources, right, to get this moving in the direction that he should move in. It's a lack of resourcefulness. So we need leadership, new types of leadership that actually targets the entire person, the mental, cognitive, the IQ. You know, we have intellectual quotient, but there's also EQ, right? There's also physical quotient, PQ, and there's something called SQ, spiritual quotient, right? This is the world of values, principles, your conscience, and it's also the hometown of your character. So character is going to become the premier saying, right? That's going to be the most important saying going forward as the catalyst, right? The spiritual moral dimension is the catalyst that drives growth in all of the other dimensions, okay? So our education systems, not just in Uganda, but the world over, have to reorientate, right? We're heading in the wrong direction, you know, and actually rethink. We need this needs to be reimagined from the ground up, and new task forces need to be created, you know, to focus on the total development of your amazing young people so that they can do extraordinary things, so that they can build Uganda to be a great nation, right? That's what we all want.
Well, very interesting, the holistic approach, that is the mental, cognitive, the IQ, the PQ, and of course the SQ. Now, this is what I want to say a fully packaged person should be when they come out of the education system. That we've concentrated on mentally what they're able to take in and produce, but also emotionally, how do they think? How do they respond to situations? And one that many today may not find very important actually here, Doctor, is the spiritual.
Yes.
Because the more we go, and I want to bring in Melton here, does it still hold value? The more we continue, the world is after science. In our country here, it's all about sciences, you know. We want to go to the moon, we want to have vaccines, you know, we want to repair, we've begun repairing our own planes, the Bombardier. You know, we are moving science, thinking science. And we don't believe that in the generations to come, this may be very important. I'm told, even where you come from, the issues of spirituality are not something so much treasured.
Exactly.
Why do we cling on this as well?
As the doctor has said, character is what builds nations. Because you must be aware that regardless of the engineers that we can produce, but when they do not have the moral vitality, the spiritual consciousness, then they are the ones who will continue stealing our money, public resources, and even construct fake roads, fake buildings. So it means we just wasted money. And I want to inform you, sir, that with what's going on around the globe, the most expensive thing right now on the table is the 21st century employer is looking for only one thing, because they have money to build our capacity, our skills, but what they cannot build is that is called moral cognitive, that consciousness of the spiritual capability to know what's right and what's right, and your connection with God, because it all rhymes with the Almighty God that aligns those spiritual values in you, that guides your purpose.
Who is going to give you a job in the 21st century basing on your faith, I mean, basing on this moralness? I mean, doctor,
yes.
I don't know, maybe you come from a better advanced world, we may say, do these really matter?
Oh, it matters massively. So, you know, let me just give you a piece of data here, right? So when you look at the Fortune 500 companies, right, these are the 5 largest companies in the world, right? We're talking about Apple, Google, Meta, you know, and so on. You know, they're no longer hiring on intellectual capability alone anymore. And I'll spotlight one company from the US, Tesla, the electric vehicle company, right? So when Elon Musk, the founder of Tesla, he actually interviewed the first 500 new employees at Tesla, right? And what was very interesting was that he did not actually consider their high school credentials or their college degree. That was very much in the background. What he was looking for, first and foremost, is this a good person? Is this a person who is self-motivated? Is this a person of good character? Is this an honest person? Secondly, what he's actually was looking for, is this person able to relate well with others? Do others like working with him, right? Thirdly, is this person able to solve problems? Do they have the initiative, the resilience, the get up and go, right, to do useful things, right? We have a lot of problems to solve here today, right? And he said the biggest hiring mistake he made when he looks back on it in reflection was relying too much on intellectual capability alone. And Warren Buffett, right, the founder of Berkshire Hathaway, he also hires first on character and integrity, second on relationships and energy, and he said, and finally on intelligence. And he said, you know, if you hire on intelligence without the character and without the initiative, taking initiative, you're bringing somebody into your company that's like a misguided missile. That person is going to destroy your company. So these leaders, these founders, they know what matters. The question is, why isn't the education sector actually nurturing and cultivating these holistic qualities in our young people, right? So I think this entire sector globally needs a serious wake-up call, and we need to like urgently reorientate, right, to the future.
Well, thank you, Doctor, for that. Indeed, you character, one person told me, actually, he's my father who usually had this to say that, well, my sons, my daughter, a degree will take you anywhere.
Yeah.
But your character will keep you there.
Yes, exactly.
So he used to tell us that well, a degree will take you anywhere, but your character will keep you there. Because if you don't have manners, if you're not disciplined, if you're not a person of integrity, you'll be getting jobs, then after some time you're fired. So now that rings a sense to many of us watching, that yes, when we talk about holistic approach and spirituality being part of that, emotional IQ being one of the things that should be instilled in school, then that is very important. Now, Milton, coming back, you see, you can only give what you have.
Yes.
Over time, I've learned that when a person comes to you and says, Robert, I have this, you feel pity, but you don't have what to give as much as they need. Sometimes what you can give is so petty that it won't solve a situation. So, who are going to impact these skills? Speak for Uganda,
Yes.
because you are Uganda.
Yes, not for America.
Doctor they may be a step ahead in that direction. But Milton, knowing who we are, do we have who can give what they don't have, assumably?
I really believe that we have everything. And in Uganda, we are addressing the teachers who are in holidays. All of you at home, the parents are at home. We have everything, and we can really become a nation that is self-sustaining. One, parents, because it begins, that's why the blueprint, by the way, it has building great families. That's where it begins, because today parents say we are busy, but then you're working for who? You're working for your children.
Not forgetting that today here in Uganda, I must report to you, Doctor,
Yes.
if we are looking at failing families, you're doing very greatly. Where today,
That's no good.
If you did a survey and asked out of 100 people you came on the streets that are parents of this generation, how many families have a father and a mother? Not that they are dead or they are widows, no. But at one time they were together, they parted ways. Or we also cherish in now an independent lady being a single mother. There's also some pride in that to a certain extent. So now Milton, talking of families as the first institute, if there is anything that has been attacked, families in
very true. Very, very true. And Moses, you are spot on. And that's why for national transformation, for us to even achieve our Vision 2040, the educational framework to operate as Doctor has launched the blueprint for us, the family should be able to be the first institution where character and the creativity and holistic education is going to be cooked and start to work. Because the mother and the father who's in love, who care for each other, and the children are learning, are being nice, that's a family that will give the right children to the school. And the school then will start doing its work properly, then the nation will be the receiving. So the family is the building block. is where love is nurtured, is where character is nurtured, where morals are the seeds of morality. But a parent who comes and say, hey, Dr. Tony, now assume you are just 3 years, and your father say, tell your uncle if he comes here that I'm in the village, because the uncle is demanding him. So the parents are now the one transmitting poor character in the children. But children who see their parents praying every morning, before eating food, is also the same child who will know, okay, God wants us to be like this. It's a boy or girl who will behave well in school. That one is number one. Number two are now the schools to really focus on holistic development of a child. We have actually discovered that we should stop calling our children learners. They are students. Learners means they just receive. Today's children, through the workshop, the first workshop was for students and teachers. We discovered that students of today actually know the future. They even know what they must study. But then the teacher is not at the same pace as the student. And there is a mismatch of these two generations. So we need now to make sure schools, we need to invest in the retooling and building capacity of teachers, so that now the schools can produce a holistic child who will cause national transformation. Lastly, are the cultural institutions and religious institutions. Long are the days where religions were working to divide the people. Today, they must unite our population, build values in them, values of integrity, love. These are, all of us agree and uniting us together. And the kings have the cultural values, extended family model of Africa that Ubuntu, it used to work. So then now their silence means a lot to actually frustrate education. Lastly, of course, is the government. How much is government really prioritizing education in this country? I am very frustrated by the parliament failing to increase the budget. But you hear them increasing their salaries in the parliament. They increase, they are together there, they are united. But when the first lady presents the budget to reboot and reorganize education, they say, no. She put a budget of around 6 trillion. What came out was just 800 billion shillings. We want enough budget to actually reorganize education, repurpose it to the future, and then we can now train and organize workshops and even invest in projects of students for a holistic education output. Because we have no taxes. Where are taxes going to come from? From a productive population. It must begin now, so that in the next 5 years, we can recoup our profits as a nation.
Well, begin now, next 5 years. Doctor, having been through this conference that you've talked about, the 2 days conferences, what are some of the lessons that you're taking home from Uganda, or those areas that you feel we must act and act now, because you are meeting experts?
Yes. So I was very encouraged, right, with the leaders we were meeting this week, right, at NCDC and the other departments and so on. And I actually learned yesterday too, from the Deputy Director of NCDC, that the Minister of Education, who's the First Lady here in Uganda, you know, her top 3 priorities, I was told, are character, relationships, and family. That is super encouraging. And I was hearing this too from our educational leaders. So innately, they know what is important. Problem is, we're not doing what's important, right? We know what to do, but we're not doing what we know, right? So this is why we need to collaborate together, right? And you know, kind of get unstuck in a sense, right? And get moving in the right direction. There's a lot of work to do. And I have a message to the young people here, and it came up in this like engagement we had with a couple of students on Monday in the workshop. And as Milton said, they know, the young people in Uganda know what they want. They know the kind of education they need. So here's my message to the young people. You young people, you're the CEO of your own education. And then your teachers are guides. They're here to guide you, right? And the parents, your parents are here to guide you. They have wisdom. But you, at the end of the day, you must take responsibility for your own education. And Robert, we're actually in the world of artificial intelligence right now, right? So AI is coming, and it's going to have a massive impact on this sector. But we need our teachers to have a new role, to be a guide, to be a facilitator, to be a mentor, to be a coach. And this means a lot of retraining, new capacity building. So we have a massive kind of like reorganization to do here, right? But it's, you know, if we can do it, the future is going to be tremendously bright, right, for our young people and for the nation of Uganda as well. All of this is focused on national transformation. This is not an end in itself. It's focused on transforming the nation, right? Not just the nation of Uganda, but all the other nations too.
Well, it is about transforming the nation. Holistic approach to education will get us there, because a person will come out of school when they are fully packaged in all aspects of life. Now, in the interest of time, Kambura, I'll give you a minute for your last word.
My last word is, of course, to thank you, Doctor, for coming, and the ministry officials. We thank you for yesterday's training, the schools that came, and the students. Please, as you see UBC, as you watch UBC, please just do your role. Let's stop complaining, corruption, what. Yes, we can talk and blow, you know, the windows. But I want to tell you that if we want good things, it starts with you. We learned that yesterday. And transformation of a nation starts with people, us, the people, the citizens of Uganda. Oh, ask yourself, what has been your contribution as an individual? Do it well, go to the neighbor, encourage him to do the same, another neighbor, and we'll have peace, and we'll recognize that transformation does not come as a miracle anymore, that then food will come, like how the Israelites asked Moses, and the food came. He didn't, so it has, miracles must work through our works, through our skill, through our good character, and united, we can achieve a lot. And greetings from our chair, Dr. Preston Moon, who is encouraging Ugandans to unite around the vision of one family under God. Let's forget about tribalism, religious intolerance.
In the interest of time, Doctor, please let me just have your parting shot.
Yeah, I would say let's focus on this, what this blueprint is proposing here, starting with cultivating lifelong character and holistic growth. That is the foundation, that is the basis. After that, all other things follow: entrepreneurship, creativity, all of it. And then this is what's going to actually be our best shot at remaking Uganda.
Well, thank you so very much, Milton Kambura, and of course, Dr. Divine. Tony, thank you so very much. And our viewer, thank you so much. We need indeed to ensure that we bring a child who has gone through school, and holistically, we've looked at these 4 great areas. That is the emotional consciousness, we've looked at the mental, we've looked at the physical, and the spiritual or moral. So if a child, all these have been focused through their time in school, then we expect people of noble character. And of course, people who are very professional in doing what they studied, keeping time, respecting one another, not stealing or swindling money. See you in the next hour. Keep it with us on UBC TV while we go touring together now. Next.
Live from UBC Studios